What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I'm Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris-183. Steve, what a great day it is.
It is. We're wrapping up our little 2025 shindig, our recap, and we got one more in the pike for us, for the folks here today.
Yeah, we got another great one today. We've been talking about the fact that we've had the opportunity to have the opportunity to be able to talk about all the great stuff that came out in 2025. And that continues tonight or today, wherever you're at, as we talk about one of the bands that, hey, I didn't really listen to a ton back in the day, but as of the last, 5 years, I've really gotten into them. And that's Motion City Soundtrack. And so
much so that Chris's hairstyle is Justin Pierre's right now.
I did see if I could mirror that, Steve, and it looks like I pulled it off.
Dude, you're a dead ringer. You could like doppelgang for Justin Pierre with your hair, like, sloppily made up, elegantly disheveled, I guess is the term, right?
Yeah, maybe they'll give me a sandwich card for life at Subway, because I'll go in and say I'm Justin Pierre, and he may have one. I don't know. Maybe that's just Happy Gilmore. It's just Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, I'm not sure where this is coming from, but yeah,
you don't know what I'm talking about.
I guess I remember that, but
you serious?
I mean, I've seen Happy Gilmore like 1,000 times.
So yeah, tell them what we're going to talk about today, Steve.
Yes, Motion City Soundtrack. We have a brand new record from them that came out this year. It is called The Same Old Wasted Wonderful World. I got to say, last week and this week, these album titles are quite the mouthful. And having said that, we invited somebody who's got quite the mouthful of knowledge and a head full of knowledge to chat about this record with us. We have Mr. Tom Good. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, guys? There's no shortage of good pop punk albums coming out this year to bring us together, so I'm thrilled to be back. This is like nearing 10. That's my goal, is to get 10 episodes of High School Never Ends. So
where are you at? You must be getting close.
It's
got to be 5 or 6, 7,
including Jeopardy. It's like 8. So there's just too many good albums coming out. I have to come back and talk to you guys. So I appreciate it.
Did you hear what he said, Steve? He said there's no shortage of good pop punk albums. Did you get that?
I think that's correct. Maybe even great, but we've delved into a few. Maybe I guess we picked the ones that we knew we'd like or we did like, but we talked about Yellow Card's Better Days. We talked about Starting Line, Eternal Youth. We talked about Hot Mulligan, The Sound a Body Makes When It's Still. And here we are, Motion City Soundtrack, The Same Old Wasted Wonderful World. This is quite the long time coming, not quite as much as the Starting Line, because they went, I think it was 17 or 18 years in between records, but this is the longest Motion City Soundtrack has gone without a new record. It's been 10 years since their last full-length record, and I'm pretty excited for this, because just like Chris, I never got into Motion City Soundtrack in the early 2000s, and then we did an episode, it was several years ago, it must have been 3-4 years ago at this point in time, where we listened to all the Motion City Soundtrack records, and I don't know how we used to do those episodes, but we did it, and since then, I was like, holy shit, I miss these guys. These guys are awesome, and they've been in like regular rotation for me, so now this is my first, like, I'm a fan new album.
Yeah, this music's right up my alley. I mean, it has been since that time. And yeah, I don't know how we used to do that. That was a lot of listening, but we did. And I'm glad we did, because it opened my eyes to, a band that I really connected to with their sound. And part of that is, I think they sound like some other bands I really like. They have components of several different sounds all mixed into one, but I think that's what makes them so unique. And was really excited to be able to do this album, as I wanted to see, sometimes when bands come back after a long break, they either try something new or they give you more of the same of what you want or what you love. And I think Motion City Soundtrack kind of did a little bit of both, but probably more of the latter, than the former. I think this is a lot of what we really loved about the band from former tracks, former albums, and that's just okay with me.
Yeah, and Tom, we've spoken to you about a bunch of different bands, but we've never spoken to you about this band. So, and we were texting one time, and you're like, I've been listening to Yellow Card, Motion City Soundtrack, and all these new records. And what's your history with this band in particular? Because I don't know.
So my first exposure to Motion City Soundtrack was actually through an alternative press article, and it was just a little blurb that said like up and coming band, and under the headline number one unsigned band in America.
Wow.
So that kind of like got my attention a little bit, and I went on and immediately started listening. They had like a couple singles out at the time, and then I Am the Movie came out, the first album, and I went to Sam Goody, geez, at the time, and got the CD. That's how old it was. And I was an instant fan. Like my favorite accident, still one of my favorite Motion City Soundtrack songs. And they just got better every release. So I've been waiting for a decent amount of time since this one. Like you said, it's been like 10 years since it came out, but even longer since they had their original drummer back, which they do for this album. And if you think about it, I know, Steve, you have kids around my age. My daughter was born the last time they had an album that came out. So like I was
Same
not
year.
a parent the last time they came out. And here we are with a new Motion City Soundtrack album. And it's like 3 kids later. So they've been like a band like Taylor Swift to me, where they've got certain eras and each has their own distinct vibe and feel and sound. So I've followed and liked everyone for its own different reasons. And kind of what Chris was alluding to, this one's kind of like a greatest hits. It touches on a lot of different eras within it. So I really enjoyed this one. I'm looking forward to digging into it.
I didn't realize that you had gone back so far, but you so every album that comes out, you're like, okay, new one, listen to it, love it.
Yep, every single one. My only downfall with them is I have not seen them live, which I'm going to try and correct. So that's been a huge album fan, but never actually seen them live.
Can we correct that together in January specifically? I forget the date, but I have it in my calendar somewhere.
It's coming up.
You guys are going? Is that what it is?
It's with Say Anything, right?
I don't have a ticket yet, but it's in my calendar. Motion City Soundtrack and Say Anything. Yes, I think Say Anything is actually the headliner. I would have maybe hoped to have that flip-floppeted after Chris, you told me he didn't sound too good the last time. But yeah, that's Saturday night, Tom. We're doing it.
We're done. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, that was just that one time. I don't know. I feel like you give that guy a pass. Say Anything's amazing. And I think that, it's going to be a great show. I imagine this is a Philly thing. So us Pittsburgh people, it's too far.
It's a Saturday. You can come.
Come on out.
Is January is probably one of the worst months to travel cross state.
January 31st is supposed to be beautiful that day.
It always snows in Pennsylvania.
Well, you can make it. And if not, then I'm sure if you take a look at the schedule, I'm sure they're coming to Pittsburgh too.
One of the things that I was thinking about while listening to this album is how it would sound live. And I do agree that there are, I think not just them though. I think you listen to their body of work and a lot of their songs lend probably great to live performances. I would imagine these guys have some amazing stage presence, and just hearing that Moog live, with the guitars and some of the, Justin Pierre vocals, it's got to be amazing. So I think you guys are going to have a blast. Hey, if I can make it, I will, but I don't know.
I caught them one time, and I didn't go there for Motion City Soundtrack. It was 2003. I went there. The headliner was Rufio, and the openers were Motion City Soundtrack, North Star, and a little band called Fall Out Boy was the first band to play that night.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I didn't go for them. And I don't remember really paying attention or not paying attention. I didn't like jump into them after. I just wanted to see Rufio, I guess, and probably Fall Out Boy. But I did see them that night for sure.
North Star's underrated too. That's a heck of a lineup.
Look at you going to these crazy shows and not even knowing it. Hey, the next segment that we have is called Chris Doesn't Know. And for this segment, I do not know the connection between Fall Out Boy and this band Motion City Soundtrack. I know it probably has a drive-through connection, but if there's something,
neither were drive-through.
I thought they were drive-through. Okay, you sure?
Tom, you're nodding yes to yes they were, or no, because neither of them were on drive-through.
No, it was so Sean O'Keefe, who produced this album, produced Take This to Your Grave, and that actually had guest vocals from Justin Pierre on it too. So I think that's where they kind of made that connection the first time.
I was thinking about ramen, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't care about Fallout. I've been honest about that. If the ramen thing, is that where they're from?
Fueled by Ramen. That's a record label. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I'm going to be negative now.
I think that they are just kind of, Midwestern buddies. I mean, we're talking about what, Minnesota and Chicago and those tours in the 2003 to 2005 era. So I'm sure there's a lot of overlap. Obviously, we have their friends because Justin Pierre was ill or he couldn't play a show in the last year, and Patrick Stump stepped in and played the entire show. I saw some video clips of that, which was very cool. And we have some guest vocals by Patrick here. So, I mean, I don't know if it's a record label thing, but I think they're definitely close friends.
Okay, so that's it. It's just it's not even that deep. That's just what it is.
That's it. Just buddies.
Good deal. Well, I think we might hear some Patrick Stump on this record too, right?
There's no silent F at the end. Is that what you're trying to imply?
I've always thought it was Patrick Stump.
Nope, just Stump.
I think it's a silent, but that P could be considered the P sound.
I mean, we could try and get him on the show and ask him, but I think it's just Patrick Stump.
So one more question for Tom. You mentioned about, instantly being into this band. Can you say why? Like, what about the sound sucked you in?
Ooh, that's a good question. To me, it was a combo. It's kind of the full package. They've got, so the lyrics in general, Justin Pierre just has a really good way of kind of putting things that are kind of funny, quirky, have some kind of like pop culture references in them, just things that you don't really hear a lot of other vocalists in the scene kind of articulate things. And he has so many like throwbacks and Easter egg quotes that are even peppered throughout this album that it makes it kind of unique. The keyboard drew me in. I have to be honest. The whole Moog synth, that was a little bit different, and seeing videos of them playing, that's always cool. But then to me, it's just how it all comes together. Like Commit This to Memory, their second album, is just such a perfect encapsulation of like their sound, the lyrics, the Moog, the poppiness, the Mark Hoppus production, just everything came together, and it's like upbeat, melancholy at the same time. And it's just, it speaks to me for some reason. So it kind of checks all the boxes for what someone in the early aughts emo scene might like.
Yeah, and let's just give credit where credit's due. Justin Pierre's vocals are very good, and they're not like one thing or the other thing. He's got his kind of neutral tone, his higher falsetto tone. He's got this like I'm just kind of speaking and being sarcastic kind of tone to him, and to that sarcasm, I mean, I don't know him personally, but he seems like a very intelligent person. Vocabulary that comes out in a lot of their songs, the lyrics, the introspection, the self-hatred, like all these things are just huge elements of the songs that he writes and the lyrics that he puts forth. So I would take those things that you said and just make sure that one is on top of it.
Yeah, for sure. So, that said, I think it's probably time to dive right in, unless there's some other background on this album that you wanted to talk about, Steve, for the audience.
Not all that much, just to, dot the T's and cross the lowercase J's. It came out on September 19th in this year, 2025. It was put out on Epitaph Records. Tom mentioned it was produced by Sean O'Keefe, who's done Fall Out Boy, Hawthorne Heights, Less Than Jake, Punchline, Spitalfield. So it's a who's who of that kind of Midwest pop punk. And it did have some in the top album sales chart. It got up to number 37. So there was some charting of it. There were 2 singles that were released prior to the album that came out, and we'll get into those as we go on. But that's kind of it, in a nutshell. Tom, anything else to hit on before we go in song by song?
No, the only other thing I mentioned, it was just the first time back with Tony Thaxton as their drummer. So the last round they had kind of a different lineup change on Panic Stations, and it sounds a little bit different from some of the previous albums. So this is definitely a return to form on it. So I was looking forward to that comeback.
Yeah, Panic Stations is one that I probably listened to on the least amount of the catalog. I think if I were to think back to my ranking it, and when we went and dive deep on this entire discography, I think My Dinosaur Life is the one that I liked the most, and Commit This to Memory was right after that. There were just a couple of killer. They just have this way of doing it, and we'll discuss, is it the same on this one, where each album just has like a handful of tracks that just have stand the test of time. Like they stand out, they shine on the album, they make it on your playlist. And Chris, we used to make every episode a little like playlist of our ranking it's. And sometimes I go back when I feel like listening to Motion City Soundtrack. I go back to the ranking it's. It was me and you and Evan from College Radio, and I listened to those. Whatever it was, it might have been 9, it might have been 15 songs, whatever it was. I listened to that playlist, and I enjoy it every time.
Nice. I'll have to go back and listen to it too. I can't even remember honestly what we talked about then, but
it was a long time ago.
And we can make another playlist.
We can. And so the last time they came to Philly, it was a couple of years ago, and I had tickets to see them. It was in the city. I forget the exact venue, but I had been like traveling for like multiple days, and I was trying to go see them. And like I got home and I was just like dead. I'd been away from the family. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just not go to this. But they did live stream it. I think I paid for it. And I watched it on my TV. And that's why I'm so excited to see them with Say Anything when they come in January, because I haven't seen them live since I've been a fan. And I do watch some YouTube videos, but I want to get the experience. I want to hear the full set list, the new songs. What are they going to sprinkle in of the ones that I love from before? So I'm psyched about this.
Yes, and we'll play the set list. We'll play the set list game afterwards.
Make the trip, Chris. Make the trip.
It's just so treacherous of a trip. You know what I mean?
It's fine. It's one road. It's Pennsylvania Turnpike.
That's the worst road. It's the worst road. There's mountains, there's hills, there's snow, there's treachery.
It's no big deal. It's a beautiful day that day.
Don't listen to him. It's bad. I've been in some really tough situations on that road.
We're going to have to get from where we live all the way to the city of Philadelphia. That might present its own challenges.
It's a treacherous road too.
That might be a worse road, actually. All things considered.
I mean, I guess I could come out and get a cheesesteak.
We can do that.
Good. Or bacon, egg, and cheese.
I mean, you can find that pretty much anywhere, but we can.
No, a good one.
All right, let's get into this album. We'd have to go to New Jersey or New York for that. That.
Well, that's right around the corner from you.
Not quite.
We could just go over the border. And
we need to teach you about some particle physics and some Philadelphia.
Well, Steve, Somewhere a Dark Heart, and I'll kick things off if that's okay. It's the opening track on this album, and it's a really interesting first track in a lot of ways. But here's my analysis on this. I think they kicked this off with a very agreeable or easy to listen to mid-tempo pop rock guitar driven song, and there's nothing wrong with any of those things. I think that the soft vocals into the big chorus, I always love that. I always say I love it. I'm going to say it again. That's the hook of the song for me is that dynamic. I think the melody overall, like the ambiance of the melody is comforting. It's easy to like. And then you mix in that Moog, the keyboard. And I think overall you have a nice track that just keeps you looking for what's next. So I don't know if there's anything else that I could say that popped out. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe this moment of the song. But I think this was one of those just like total package songs that is a great starter. It gets you in the mood to listen to more. And it just feels good, right? The song feels good from front to back with its tone, with its tempo. And, he delivers those vocals perfectly within the confines of all that. So I like the way this album starts. How about you guys?
I would say that this is a really nice Jimmy Eat World song to start off this Motion City Soundtrack album here. The vocals, the guitars, everything is very Jimmy Eat World. That is not a bad thing. While I'm listening to it, I totally feel like angels are leading me in to this album. Overall, this is a very good song. I might have saved it for later on in the album, like not the number one track, because the songs that follow this, I feel like are just a little bit more exciting. But then right about before the 2-minute mark comes that Motion City Soundtrack Moog comes in, which I love. And the song is totally enjoyable. I'm just joking around that it does have a Jimmy Eat World vibe to it. And it's a little on the chiller side. And the next couple are a little bit more upbeat. But I thought it was a good song for the start. Tom, what'd you think? Did I take what you were going to say?
No, my Jimmy World reference is later on in the album, so I'll save that one for there. But yeah, to me, it's funny. Motion City soundtrack is really good at three things: intro songs, the final song on the album, and they have some of the best bridges in all of the genre. And this one is a little bit of a downer for me in terms of their opening tracks. For when you compare it to things like Fell in Love Without You, Worker Bee, Circuits and Wires, even anything at all that was on Panic Stations, like they're just some of the best songs on the album and just kickstart like exactly what you're going to get for the rest of that album. This one's a little bit more subtle. Still a great song. Like even a not my favorite one is still going to be better than a lot that are out there. But I think it is a good step for this album because it is a bit slower. It's a bit more mature, and it's a good solid bookend with the rest of the ending track that comes out here. But I think it probably would have been sequenced better later in the album, and I probably would have liked it more on the first listen. But now that I've gotten through it a couple times, I like it, but it kind of caught me off guard on the first listen.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the things that I read about this album is that they were kind of trying to go back, not necessarily to capture what they had earlier, but kind of get a little bit more general and not as specific on, some of the, I guess, the content and the themes of the songs. Justin Pierre writes a lot about, talks a lot about mental health issues and stuff like this. I think this album in general, I think kind of peels that back a little bit and makes things a little bit more general. But anyways, I think, Tom, you'll be happier with number 2.
Yeah, this one, She Is Afraid, it definitely reminds me of one of my favorite eras of the kind of Even If It Kills Me era for this one. And I think this was actually the first single that they put out for this album. So it was kind of the first taste of what it was going to be when this came out. And I think it's a really good setup for what's to come. So, I mean, if you like Motion City soundtrack, you're probably going to be a fan of this one. So it's kind of being the first single. I think it did what it was supposed to do. It shows people they still got it, doesn't really ruffle any feathers, and, doesn't also spoil some of the best songs on the album that are going to come after this. It kind of gets the job done and is a solid hitter. So I'm a fan of this one. What do you guys think?
Good, Steve.
I think this might have been better as the kickoff track is number 1. I mean, this song has just super playful guitars and vocals throughout the entire thing. It's got a very big chorus that's really fun to sing along to. When you go over to the bridge, this one gives me actually some Weezer-esque vibes, but better than Weezer. In the final chorus on this one, there's just awesome harmonies, and it leads into a very big end. And in terms of the first single, they put out, did you guys see the video for this one?
No.
Oh, so the video is themed like Severance, like the show Severance. So I don't know if you're a fan of that show, but even if you're not, you maybe understand that they're in a underground work environment that's very bright and white, and they pull in a couple of themes from the actual Severance, like a melon party, and they have the little tags, and you can see that they're in a room that's titled Motion City, because I think all the rooms in Severance, right, are named after cities. So this one is Motion City. And this one is just a bopper. So it is very, very strong as their first single.
And I just imagine like you in a room, like surrounded by playful guitars.
They're very playful. Like they are quite, and the vocals are playful too.
No, I get it. And did you hear my psh when you said it was better than Weezer?
Yeah,
I heard it.
Yeah, that was just a polite dig that I thought you might brush over. Maybe not. That's okay though.
No, I let you guys have your fun on that first track. And by the way, I feel like that first track is the reason why this second track hits as well as it does. I think that it eases you in. I mean, you don't always have to have an up-tempo, just super banger for that first track. I mean, I feel like the melancholy of the first track allows this one to shine a little bit more as a transition song. So I think they made the right choice in my opinion. But She Is Afraid, I agree with you guys. Like I really like this track a lot. I I loved the guitar on this one. I think that was one of the standouts for me, was just the guitar riff throughout the entirety of the song. Very 2000s feel, very, mid or early 2000s feel. I really obviously love that era, of course. That's why I have this show, or we have this show. But that riff, it really carries the song in a lot of ways. And if you listen to it, and I always say to myself, hey, memorize the riff so you can at least hum it on the show. I can't. But they have that little riff, and they build on it with other stuff throughout the song. So they add like a little guitar piece to it, or some like weird strumming, and then you have the riff. So it's really cool what they do with that throughout, but it stays put in terms of the foundation of the sound. And I think that that it carried me through the whole thing and kept me just kind of interested in listening to the music. And usually there's a very repetitive part that is, potentially would, maybe you consider that the breakdown. I don't know, but it's in the middle of the track, where it's a lot of the same thing over and over and over again. It's that riff I'm talking about, but it sounds really good. Like, I feel like usually I get bored with that, but this time I don't. And it just kept me in the song, just listening to it over and over again. So I give him a lot of credit for being able to do that and keep my interest through something. Otherwise, I probably would just skip to the next song if I was in the middle of it. So good stuff here. I think they do a lot of great things, and I was a fan of this track.
Nice. All right. Well, I guess I will kick off the number 3, particle physics. I was really bad at physics in high school and college, so this is a little bit triggering for me, but it makes it a little bit better because it does feature Patrick Stump, and this one is heavy on the synth right at the start. I don't know if I ever knew how much I really enjoyed listening to that Moog or the synth, because I missed Motion City Soundtrack back in the day. I missed Houston Calls back in the day. And now when I listen to these bands, I'm just like, yes. I just like having that element in. For me, it's like listening to Yellow Card, and there's a violin there. It's this extra element to it that I just never knew that I needed, but I do. I love the spit fast kind of lyrics that are somewhat nonsensical in this one. Another big, catchy chorus. This is straight up just a feel good single. And I don't even think it's considered a single, but I definitely heard a lot about it when it was released, just because it features Patrick Stump. But the thing is, these guys do their features a little bit different than other bands do their features, right? So we talked about, Yellow Card. All right. They have featuring Avril Lavigne. She's got her own verses. They have alternating choruses. You could listen to this song and not even realize that Patrick Stump is in it. You could, because Justin Pierre and Patrick Stump, they don't have the same voice, but they've got similar type voices where they're high pitched but melodic. And if you listen to it, you can hear parts where Patrick is emphasizing certain words, but it's not like he's got his own verse. It's not like they're taking turns with the chorus. He's just a featured player. He's in the background. He's highlighting a couple things here and there. So I think that's pretty cool. And this one also has a video. It's a little more silly and cartoony. Patrick Stump is in it. He's also bearded. It's a weird cartoony video where it's half Popeye cartoons, half they're at this show and people are dressed in animal costumes, and there's a choreographed concert kind of thing. It just seemed very, nerdy emo kind of thing, and I enjoyed it. So check out the video. It's on the YouTubes. And the song itself, I thought, was fantastic. This is typically the powerhouse spot on an album, if we're going to be traditional about things, number 3. And I think this one, for me, lives up to it for sure.
Yeah, good, Tom.
I agree. This is the good stuff with Motion City Soundtrack. So insanely catchy chorus, really quirky lyrics. I mean, back to the comment earlier around the guy's clearly intelligent. It's really not often that you find references to books by famous neurologists in a pop punk song, just in regular lyrics that come through. So I love the references that are all through this. They've been doing that since their first album, and there's just some really fun little Easter eggs if you kind of dig into the lyrics and the history a little bit with some of the stuff that they're actually saying. But Steve, I have to agree with you. This is probably the first of a trilogy of underutilized guest appearances on this album that come through. I was pretty this is the one that I was drawn to when I saw the track list that came out, and I was like, this is going to be amazing. It's Patrick Stump finally being featured on a Motion City soundtrack song. And you blink and you miss it, and he's kind of there in the background, and he's going pretty hard when he's in the background, and definitely you could tell he adds some of his like songwriting to it, because some of the kind of rapid fire moments are very Patrick Stump that come through, but he's kind of more a supporting player in this one. I wish he could have been utilized more, but this is still, despite all that, probably one of my favorite songs on the album.
It's not a bad feature. It's just a little underwhelming. Like
yeah. So this is definitely up there as one of my tops on the album.
I think it's just whelming enough, Steve.
It's just whelming enough. You don't need more Patrick?
No, if I had a band, I would invite Patrick Stump on to do nothing. I would just have him stand in the background.
Well, he can be in Tom and my band. We'll welcome him openly.
No, I would still pay him. I'd still pay him a little bit, but he wouldn't do anything. He would just stand around.
He would just be a silent F.
He would be behind like a column or something where you can see like maybe his arm, and that's it. So I don't know how much I'd pay him for that, but I'll tell you what though, like this is, you guys are right. I agree. This is a great song. It's quirky. I think, Tom, you said it. And maybe you did too, Steve. Like that was the first word that came into my head when I heard this. I often pepper my kids with questions on purpose because I know they get so frustrated when I do it. So there's a lot of peppering us with one question after another in this song, especially in that first verse. I thought that was really cool. So it was questions and then exclamatory sentences, statements. Otherwise, you could say, but it was really clever the way he put that together. So just reiterating a lot of what you guys said about the clever nature of the lyrics in this track and the way they were delivered, and they were masterfully delivered too. So I love the vocals in this one. I think that was the standout for sure, but a lot of great things to like in this one. And it just like the song itself, you will listen to the lyrics and listen to the song behind it. Like it kind of takes you by surprise in a lot of ways. Like, wow, they made a song about this. Like, what is he even talking about? But that's okay. It's fun. This is a quote unquote fun song from front to back. 100%. It personifies it. And I was all for it.
You can hear the fun in your voice.
Yeah, look, I mean, so far so good. I think this album has been great to date, or to this song. And I think it's time is it time for me again? Did each one of you guys kick off a song yet?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we continue on with this next one. And hey,
say it, Chris. Say it. Say it.
No,
say the word.
I had a lead in for this, but you know who the fuck we are.
No.
It's funny. It's funny that's the title of this song, because if you listen to it, it's very matter of fact. Like it doesn't sound like it fits this song. Not in a bad way, though. I'm not saying that in a way where I think it sounds awkward. I think it fits perfectly in terms of the way they have it constructed. But the music and the way the tempo and just the big, poppy nature of the song, it doesn't seem like that's what your tagline is for this one. But I think that's really the fun of it, right? That's the clever nature of what they do, and they make it work. So, I still think it was a great way to frame this one up. I did notice the word abattoir. What is that again? Because I didn't look that up on the internet.
I can look it up.
I was just curious. They do use several words like similar to that. The other ones I think I'm good with, but this was the only one I wasn't sure of.
It's a slaughterhouse. Greetings from the abattoir.
Mm-hmm. So very matter of fact, in the song title, mention that the feel of the song, I don't know. It almost feels like it gives you a very like late 70s pop feel in some ways. Like some of those bands like 38 Special, like you get that same feeling, maybe a little bit less guitar driven, but you mix that with that 2000s pop pop punk sound or just all pop sound that they have, and you get a really well done melodic hit, in my opinion. And so, like, this is one of those, just like the first track, and I mentioned, as a body of work. Like, if you look at the entire song, this one stands out for sure. Like, it just all works together. It's a great just full body of work from start to back. And I think that that's why this one potentially is one of the better ones on the album. And I wonder if you guys feel the same way.
Yeah, Tom, you go ahead.
So I think when I was on for the Wonder Years, you guys were talking about the type of fucks that you can say on an album. And I don't know which one this is categorized as, but that definitely drew me in the first time I saw the song title. What were those? I forget what they were.
Well, there's tasteful fucks. There's like egregious or outrageous fucks. I think that's really it.
Okay, this is kind of borderline tasteful, I guess. Maybe it's optimistic.
I feel like having it in the title is somewhat aggressive.
Yeah,
but its context in the song itself fits in very nicely.
I think it's a new one. It's called a clever fuck.
It's a clever fuck. I like that.
It's a clever. Okay, so this onion has layers. So this one was another pre-release single, and I appreciate this one way more in context of the album than when I heard it for the first time. I think this is like the second single they released for the album. Reminds me a little bit of like a middle ground between Even If It Kills Me and kind of My Dinosaur Life, which Steve, I love too. I know you mentioned that earlier, but it's like a really nice sweet spot there. It's catchy, straightforward for them, but straightforward Motion City soundtrack is still really good to listen to. I think my one beef, and since this is a pop punk dad podcast, I have to put this out there. I can't listen to this in front of my kids, and that bums me out. Even when I put it on the car, I have AirPlay on my car, or CarPlay on my car, and it's even in the title, so I can't even like skip through it without someone asking what that is. So
let me ask a question to you. Your oldest and my daughter are the same age. They're 10, 11, and so I played this in the car on the way to school today, and when I was singing along with it, I made sure I sang louder, and I said, "You know who the heck we are?" And she goes, "Daddy, I can see the title of the song." But so, would you care if it was just your 10-year-old, but you have two youngers?
It's the youngers mainly, yeah. Okay. But I do the trick where I know where they are, so I just turn the volume down for that part, or I yell really loud just to cover it off, kind of like a bleep in the car. So I'll cover it up if the song's worth it, but I can't hide this. It's in the title. They can see it, and he's just starting to read, my 7-year-old. So it's like like, dude, you can't, don't even spell it. So that's my one beef with this song. Otherwise, I love it. It's a great song.
Yeah, sometimes they will, star out the curses in the titles of the songs, but not in this one. She said, she goes, "Daddy, I can read it." I'm like, "You're old enough. Like, it's okay. As long as you don't say it." She's like, "Yeah, it's fine." I think the song title is quite funny. It's like, "You Know Who the Fuck We Are." Like, you kind of feel like that would be like the title of like a gangster rap song, right? Like, but it's Motion City soundtrack. On this album, you go track 2, track 3, track 4. Like, this is becoming a heavy hitter of an album. Another fast-paced song where the vocals, the guitars, the synth just all work so perfectly together. Justin, the crazy vocabulary, the avant-garde, the abattoir Chris you mentioned. And the one thing that is very cool about this song, if you'll notice, is that the chorus, if you call it the chorus, is constantly changing the entire song. Like, "You know who the fuck we are, don't waste our time or energy." That part stays the same, but we have "Debasing the Boulevard," we embrace the avant-garde, "The Angry Arm of the Enemy," "Greetings from the Abattoir," Gen X and their loud guitars. I mean, they're just changing up the chorus throughout it, which I always think is super cool to see something that's a little different. And at the end of the day, take away the, with the curse, without the curse, this song just sounds awesome. And again, I think this is worthy of being released as a single. And again, I was just kind of scrolling through the other Motion City soundtrack albums, and it's like every one that I go to, there's just like 2 or 3 songs where I'm like, damn, yes, these songs are just so good and stick with you. And they have a lot of them right in the beginning of this album. I guess we'll see if it continues and holds up.
We have a future segment called Will Chris Pick This Album Up on Vinyl? This is not a segment for this show. This will be in the future, maybe in 2026. But maybe I will pick this up on vinyl. I guess we'll have to find out.
Listeners, Tom just held up this album on vinyl.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, Tom, you and I have to talk because I've become the resident expert on vinyl on the High School Never Ends podcast, and to that, I think I'm still one to admit that I have some questions and things to learn, and one of them is this album good enough to buy on vinyl? So
it is.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay. Well, then one of you guys want to go to the next one?
Melancholia. Yeah, I'll get into this one. So in the beginning, slightly slower pace on this one, at least at first. The chorus has this like very uplifting feel to it. Like, even if that's kind of not what the sentiment of the lyrics is, it might just be the falsetto. Again, there's a handful of really great lyrics in this one. I love when he says conferences pair well with Cabernet, because as somebody who goes to business conferences, that's just something funny. No software update can change a man who wears cardigans. Like, these I feel like should be like on a calendar of like, funny things. And in this song, there's a very trippy, feedbacky musical breakdown section. This one doesn't fit the mold that we've really laid out for the first 4 tracks, and I think it's very cool to have something different here at number 5. So I liked Melancholia. Tom, what'd you think?
It's a nice pivot for me. This reminds me a lot of like the Commit This to Memory era, which is like probably my favorite for sure. And I like the transition from these first kind of upbeat 2 songs that were before this and going right into this one. It's softer, it's a little more introspective. But the chorus kicks in and it's like, I think it's 2008 again. It's still wild to me that these guys are writing such good songs with such, like, to your point, kind of funny, relevant lyrics at this stage in their career. And I think more than anything, you were talking earlier about the Moog and kind of missing it. And I think that this is a good example of Motion City Soundtrack where, they have some songs where it's pretty synth heavy and you can kind of hear it and it's out front. There's a lot of like, hey, look, we have a synth in this song. This one kind of sits in the background and just kind of adds some atmosphere to this. And it's not overwhelming, but accentuates things just enough to kind of blend in and make it slightly different than some other bands. So between the lyrics, the vibe of this song, it's a really good kind of downbeat Motion City Soundtrack song. And I think they do that surprisingly well for such a poppy band. So yeah. I think they nailed it with this one. What do you think, Chris?
I wasn't as into this one as much for the musical piece. I didn't really love the melody in this song, but I can appreciate the sentiment. And I think once again, a clever sentiment in this one. I read this as, and I could be way off, but I don't care. I read this as somebody that's kind of floating through life, or, Melancholia is just like somebody that is just going through the motions. City Soundtrack.
Oh, there you go.
No, seriously, Motion City, they're going through the motions of life. They're going to work. They're just like not necessarily doing anything risky. They're just doing what they have to do day in, day out. And they have these thoughts and feelings that are in them, but they ignore them because they know that it's not necessarily something that will keep them in that safe zone. So that's the way I kind of read it. And I'm sure a lot of people go through that same thing with their lives from day to day. And they also feel these things on the periphery of that. And so I think it connects in a lot of ways to a lot of people. And I think that's cool to write a song about that. But I didn't connect with the melody. So it was hard for me to really get into this one, maybe as much as you guys did because of that piece.
All right, we'll keep it rolling. Your days are numbered.
All right. Let's see. This one, I was very into this track, ladies and gentlemen. This one had a star tied to it. And if I look at, so once again, I bring up Spotify. If you play the song on Spotify, it gives you clips of what could be the video, which is like an anime style video of something. It doesn't give you the whole thing, but just the same loop over and over again. And it looks like just Justin Pierre's an anime guy with his hair. Like, did you ever see this one?
Yeah, so essentially the video is kind of an anime style. It's about like a warrior on a quest, and the warrior comes to what looks like, is it Zoltar or Zoltan from the movie Big? Where he's in the game. Yeah. So Justin Pierre essentially is the Zoltar, and his like mouth opens and a wish or some sort of written thing comes out, and it says your days are numbered, and then some other things. But that's the gist. It's like a warrior on a quest, and he's part of it.
I did go to New York this summer, Steve, and I did go to FAO Schwartz, and I did put money into Zoltar. He was in there.
Nice.
And I did wish I was big, but it did not work.
You're already big.
That is not fun. That's not nice.
I mean, tall, grown up. I'm not saying that in a nasty way.
Dude, I'm trying. I've been eating really good recently, so you can't.
You don't want to get older.
So, yeah. What would
you should have said, "I want to be small."
I'd wake up and I'd
be young.
I'd be 30 years older than what I am, is what I would get. So, I would not be able to play chopsticks on and they did not have a keyboard on the ground like they do in the movie Big, by the way.
I think the original FAO Schwartz is not what is the FAO Schwartz now. I think the original one on Fifth Avenue closed, and there is one. I think it's around Rockefeller Center. I don't think it's the original one though. It's still something.
That's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
It's just it's business.
But I think this is a great track, guys. I think that there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, the transitions from verse to chorus, I thought were masterful. They were seamless. They sounded amazing. The guitar on this one has that haunting sound to it, but still engaging in a lot of different ways. I think that second chorus just brings an amazing sound, especially with that piece with just the vocals, and I believe it's the drum/bass that's behind the vocals. I know that the guitar does kick in after some time, but what an amazing couple lines that it just kind of creates an atmosphere that I love. So this song has an incredible build to it too. It has those amazing big choruses. This is potentially my favorite vocal performance on the entire album by Justin Pierre. Okay. And I just think there's so many great things to like about this one. I know it's, there's poor parts of it that are kind of slow, but I think it's just all part of the build. And I love a good build song. So this one was, I thought this one was phenomenal. What did you guys think?
Tom, you go for it.
I knew that you were going to like this one, Chris. Ooh. As I was listening to it, I just thought this was going to be the one that got you. And I'm learning, but it's another slower song. And I again, this is part two of I wish the guest vocalist had a little bit more in the song trilogy, but this has Matt Karikas, I think his name is, from Citizen. And I love some Citizen albums, so I was hoping he would do a little bit more, but he's kind of in the background this one, but used pretty well. But I think the thing that really stands out to me about this one is it kind of breathes a little bit and has some more space than some of the other songs. And I want to say it's almost Weezer-ish, which is why I thought Chris might like this one. It reminds me a lot toward in the end of like Only in Dreams type era Blue album with some of the guitars and kind of like plodding through to the end. And it's got a really good build and some good examples of kind of their loud and soft dynamics through this that I think really just play well together. So it's a grower, but when it hits, it's awesome. So this is another win for me.
Yeah, I agree. This is a very good song. It's not like really like catchy, like there's most of these soundtrack songs that are like really catchy and like boppy, and this is not one of them. It has a darker feel to it. It's funny that the chorus is 2 lines. I'm not like them. No one can stop me now. But it's really big. It's really big, and I feel like this song has this theatrical nature to it. Not just because I looked at the music video, but it just, I don't know, it just has this. And Tom, maybe it's what you were saying. It has room to breathe, that it's very different, and it's kind of perfect like halfway through the album. I think it probably fits and breaks it up really well. And the nice thing, again, about this band is that it's not all the same shit over and over. They give you these different looks and these different sounds. And this is a prime example of that. So your days are numbered.
Don't be a downer, Steve.
Debbie Downer?
Sure.
You want me to start on this one?
That was the segue.
Oh, that was it. Okay. Yeah. This one goes real quick, right from the jump. Something kind of tells me that this song is one of those more like introspective songs. He goes into this, Beat Street, feel the rhythm beneath your feet, apathetic, copacetic, all these things. He starts type 2 as the anagram displays, and I'm always exhausted. I feel like he's kind of talking about himself, because I always see these posts where he's like in a hospital bed. He always posts when he's like under the weather or something's going on his Instagram. And when he goes into, and I will always let you down towards the end of the chorus, it's with this upbeat clap and this like moog sound that, again, it just takes this concept, which is dark and is a downer, but kind of pokes fun at it and makes it happy. And you hear me in this one, he goes, I'm still fucking anxious. I feel like this one, it has like a slightly less like catchier, earwormy chorus, but I think that the pace and the music like makes up for it. The one verse, I wrote it was very introspective. When I was small, I made a lot of mistakes. Then I grew up and learned it wasn't quite that way. If I had known back then it wasn't my fault, I might have affected the way that I acted with confidence instead of hiding behind it all. I mean, when you kind of dig in, and I always, when I do these exercises, like to read the lyrics. He's a really good lyricist, and I love people that can kind of analyze themselves. And I thought this one was really good. Again, we're like, second half of the album now, and this one's got a lot of beat to it.
Good, Tom.
This one is really immediate compared to some of the other ones. So I'm with you, Steve. It's kind of like right out of the gate. It just goes pretty fast. This is the one that jumps out to me that I feel like it's probably really great live. It's got that nice dichotomy of kind of, introspective lyrics with kind of like really poppy background. My one problem with this one is that it's a little bit too kind of paint by the numbers Motion City soundtrack for me. So like, even though it's great, it doesn't necessarily stand out from some of the other ones that are on the album, but it has hand claps. And my bar is pretty low, guys. If there are hand claps, it's instantly going to be elevated a little bit for me. So it took what was probably just a 5 and makes it more like a 6 or a 7 for me on this one. Solely due to hand claps. 6-7
for the hand claps.
So that just knocked it down like all the pegs. The 6-7 and the hand claps. Like I wasn't thinking about either of those, and I was about to say how much I like this song, but you guys are a downer to me in this situation.
Because we said 6-7?
That's one of them. Look, when
we're kids, we're just kids.
When there's like 5-year-olds saying 6-7, it's over. It's done. It's completely done.
What if it's 42-year-olds saying 6-7?
I would prefer that, to be honest with you, than hearing a bunch of like 7-year-olds like saying 6-7, 6-7. Like, oh my God, stop saying that. Like, what are you saying? What does that even mean? I even told the one 7-year-old, like, tell me what that means right now, or you can't say it anymore. And they're like, I don't know. And they ran away. No, I don't. It didn't happen like that. But so this song is not a downer. I will take that all back. I think that this one gets a star with a line, and that's a good thing, because there's a new system, Steve, one that you're not aware of.
Uh-oh. I'm supposed to be presented when these things change.
Well, this was a surprise. I figured that you're a guy that likes surprises.
I like spreadsheets. I like to know the system that we're using.
And you used it, first of all, number one, Tom, you used the right word, dichotomy, because it definitely has one. Number two, they use the word copacetic in the song, which is another star. And you just don't get it because you keep it copacetic. That's one of my favorite songs, obviously. That has nothing to do with this other than just the word, but it does trigger that. And my point is, it's such an upbeat, up-tempo, downtrodden, dark, self-defeating song. And they're not the only band that has done something like this that we've pointed out. Plenty of other bands have done stuff like this where it's like super hot, great and poppy, but talking about like the really depressing stuff. But it works here. They do a great job, and I enjoy the song, regardless of what you're listening to or what he's talking about and the downtrodden nature of it. I think the Moog in this one is on overdrive, and it hits. I love it. And just overall, like this is a great track. Once again, the song just sucks you into all of the notes, the amazing tempo, the vocals I talked about. The tempo of the song forces you to really embrace the melody. I think that they go hand in hand, and the melody keeps you occupied and really happy till the very end. So again, front to back, another great song on this album. Definitely not a downer. And neither are you guys, by the way.
Thanks. We're upbeat. We're very upbeat.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. I was just kidding.
Thanks. So we are downers? I don't understand what's happening.
No, I didn't mean that you were downer. I started it off by saying you guys were downers.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was saying I didn't mean it.
I get it now. Thank you. That's a nice apology.
That wasn't a stick. That wasn't a shtick. It was a stick.
You hold a special place in mi corazón.
Stump.
Tom, mi corazón. This one's yours.
I was wondering how you were going to transition that, and that was just perfect.
Don't ever count me out.
So for those that don't know, mi corazón is my heart. So just a little background for you. I appreciate them doing something new with this one and expanding. It's very different when you look back at Motion City Soundtrack. Like this song kind of stands out. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. It's one of my least favorite songs on the album. But I respect them for going big on it. The bass does go really hard on this though. Definite stink face during the entire bridge section when the bass is going and the drums just kind of pumping through it. Like I said it earlier, these guys have some of the best bridges of any band that's in this kind of scene that's here, between like Time Stand Still, which is probably my favorite Motion City Soundtrack song of all time. I Can Feel You. Those are just really good examples. I think even though this is not my favorite song, it's still got an awesome bridge. So it elevates it a little bit for me.
Yeah, I think it's super awesome the way that they weave the Spanish into this song. And to me, the song comes off like very much Spanglish. And I wrote down Holy Bassline Batman because you're right. It is very heavy on the bass. I found this one to be very different and very cool. I really liked the kind of soft female voice at the end of the verses, and they're just saying a phrase in Spanish. It was very unique. I don't think I've ever heard anything like it, and I think this one was really cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you. The uniqueness of it is what drew me in. I didn't have a lot of words written down for this one because I didn't really know what to say.
¿No sabes español?
I don't speak Spanish. No, but it doesn't matter. Like there was a charm about this song that I just really, really liked a lot. And, I think you guys just said it perfectly, so I'm not going to add to it. But overall, I would recommend this track. It didn't get a star because, again, I just was a little confused on how to put it into words. But I think that because of the unique nature of it, it's probably the main reason why it piqued my interest the way it did. So I was into this one, even though I had very little to say.
All right, well, we'll move on to Bloodline. I guess I'll kick this one off. This was a short song. It's only 1:41. It's the least streamed track on the album thus far, but it's super energetic. And I mean, man, what a fucking line. I was born to end your bloodline. Like that is a freaking powerful, strong thing to say. Lots of distorted guitars in this one. They did throw a little Spanish in this one too. Esta noche. Again, there's not all that much to this one because it's so short, but I thought it was very cool. Very cool.
it feels like this song. If you look at the lyrics, like it's feels like it would do well in some sort of show that was about, I don't know, like a hitman or maybe like a one man army that would go in and just destroy everything. I don't know. There's plenty of movies that have that, but it it was a shorter song. It kind of sounded like gave me like a Foo Fighters vibe a little bit to it when I started listening to it. So
Okay.
maybe like that, that late '90s rock feel of the Foo Fighters. Even now though, like they've been a similar sound, but the quick hit nature of it was fine. They had the spoken word and the voice. I'm sorry, and the verse piece that I thought was a little bit different. They didn't sing it; they said it. So this one's not bad. Like I wasn't blown away here. I think there were a lot of things that were were decent, but it wasn't enough that I could say that I would want to listen to this one over and over again. And it probably just once again comes back to the fact that I wasn't a huge fan of the melody of the song or the tempo or anything that really could bring me in musically. And that's where I kind of stuck. So, Tom, did you feel differently?
No, I'm pretty similar to you, Chris, in this one. And it's funny you mentioned the Foo Fighters because to me it was sounding a little bit kind of like Jimmy Eat World Futures
I see that too.
type guitar riffing at the beginning until the verse kind of comes in. So
You went
that's my
hard, Jimmy
Jim.
Eat World. I went soft,
I,
Jimmy Eat World at the
I
beginning.
know, yeah. See that, yeah. See that's my Jimmy Eat World callback that I promised. But um, I think it was mainly due to the vocal delivery in the verses. The spoken word vocals just didn't hit with Motion City Soundtrack for me, and that I'm actually a fan of that type of stuff. Normally, like I like Me Without You. I'm cool with odd vocal deliveries. I like the Blood Brothers, stuff like that. So I can handle really kooky vocals that are out there. But for some reason, it just does not land with me when it comes into a Motion City Soundtrack song. So it kind of was enough to take me out of it, which was enough to kind of make this one of my least favorites on the album too. But I think they rounded out nicely from here on out.
All right, we'll keep it rolling. Things like this.
So I'm happy to start with this one because this is actually rounding out the I wish they were featured more guest vocal trilogy with
Yeah.
Sincere Engineer on this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely classic Motion City Soundtrack. It's a lot like kind of Better Open the Door, but from where they are at this stage in their career. It's got Sincere Engineer, like I mentioned. Pretty good album if you haven't listened to that, but it all sounds really good together. There's some really good backing vocal harmonies that just kind of add to uh, Justin Pierre's already strong vocals. It's definitely one of my favorites on the album. The chorus is great. Get yourself together, man. You can't miss what you never had. I feel like a lot of bands that are releasing albums now, like you mentioned, Starting Line, Yellow Card, some others that were kind of from that early aughts time frame, are really looking back on the success of that time and where they are now. And this song kind of encapsulates that for me. And this one's got some really powerful lyrics also. So like, where did the time go? I keep wondering why. Every mark on the wall, every teary goodbye, tiny pattering feet, now a silent retreat. Is it too late to start again? Like those are some really well written lyrics that are pretty introspective. For someone that's kind of approaching 50 and still writing this kind of music, it just kind of hits on this one. So I was a fan of this one.
Yeah, I can jump in. I don't think that I disagree with the fact that it's a good track. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but I would say that the sound of the song, mirrors a lot of the songs that I praised heavily on this album. The problem is that I have with this is I feel like I've heard this song and this album already. And so again, this it's not a bad thing because I probably like that other song that I heard already. It just doesn't do anything new for me. Like it has the chorus, it's fine. It feels like maybe it's somewhere in the middle of the pack in terms of a chorus, but the only standout that I had written here was that the Moog is really elevates this one a lot. And around that 2 minute mark, you get this amazing Moog. I don't know whether it's a solo or it's not a solo, but you get instrumental with that Moog, and it just rips. Like I love that piece. So I think that knocks it up a couple notches in my book, and makes it a little bit different. But overall, I think we've already gotten this song, and even though I'm okay with that, it just doesn't draw my attention as it maybe did the first time. So, Steve, what did you think?
I think this one, you may be right, but I feel like this one kind of reinvigorates me. Like, again, I was so high on those first like handful of tracks on the album, and then this one feels like it's another one of those, but it's sprinkled in right towards the end before Same Old Wasted Wonderful World, which we'll get to. But I thought this is a very well placed song to like add in another one of those kind of classic Motion City soundtrack sounding songs. It's got those cool speak sing kind of verses. I do feel like I am being a bit repetitive, but they just do this so well. Like an awesome. I love the chorus in this one. The chorus and the Moog specifically in the chorus. It's super upbeat. It's super fun. The bridge has this like, I don't know, there's a section where it kind of sounds like there's like a fire station alarm that's going off. And then it gets a little chiller, but it's this transition kind of thing. The only thing I'd say is like, I don't really hear Deanna Bellos from Sincere Engineer. They're a band that if somebody told us like, let's do an episode on them for our show, I'll be like, yes, because I haven't listened to them a whole lot, but I've heard a little bit and I'm excited to listen to more. And I would have liked to hear more. And I feel like one time I was listening to it and I kind of heard her voice, but then the last time I listened to it when I was like writing down some notes, I'm like, I couldn't really even find it. And let's take these featuring artists and bump them up a little bit and give us a little bit more of that for the next time. Overall, though, I thought this was a very strong track, up there with some of my favorites for sure. And that leads us into the titular track that's here at the end. I feel like, Tom, you've been talking about the bookends and the starting track, the back track, the last one for a while. I feel like you should get the opportunity to go first here.
The closing song, that's a lot of pressure for a Motion City soundtrack album. So I'll do my best. This one was a grower for me. I have high expectations for the end tracks of Motion City soundtrack albums. And the first few times I listened, it didn't really click. They've ended some of their other albums in this type of fashion, but this is probably the MVP or the comeback of the year award for me, because now I love it. It's one of my favorites on the album. It reminds me a bit of some of the stuff that they've done before, but enough new tricks to kind of keep things interesting. And the key change in the middle and the guitar solo remind me a ton of like Pinkerton era Weezer, which I'm a sucker for. And it has some really cool guitar harmonies that are just kind of weaving back and forth and just collide at like the right moments to just sound huge, oddly imperfect, and just awesome together. So I love how this thing came together. It's like a really good way to encapsulate the journey that you just went on through the other tracks. So I think it's a really good choice for a closing song on this one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll go next, and I agree. You took it. You took the Weezer reference, and I'm glad you did, because I just want to build onto that. See, I didn't feel like it was Pinkerton, but I hear that now in my head. Now that you say it, I thought maybe it was kind of a little bit later of a Weezer feel to it. But either way, it has that sound that right sound that just hits the mark, that really always just gets me every time. So no matter what era that it sounds like its own thing. It has references to Weezer, whether you feel like it's Pinkerton or not. But man, is it good? Does it sound good? I think that, the overall feel of the song, it's very showy in a lot of ways. It could be in a musical, right? I think it's that showy, which is great. Like they do a great job. Like Motion City Soundtrack is a showy band in a lot of ways, in the way they sing and the grandioseness of their music, and this plays right into that. So I like when they kind of play to their strengths, and this song does that. I do think this is a slam dunk ending to this album, and it's a amazing musical showcase. I definitely leave this album happy as a result of this track. So really happy with this one.
Yeah, I enjoyed this final track too. It starts kind of audio over guitar only. I like the fact that they cap the album off with the titular track. To me, it's mid tempo. It's got a very cool thing where it seems like it's almost got like kind of like a double chorus, right? There's I'm so sick of living nostalgia down. They repeat that a couple times, but then in the second half of the song, it seems like the chorus is it's the same old wasted wonderful. Like it changes like a double chorus, and that part. It's the same old wasted wonderful world. It is. I feel like I want to move my hands like a conductor when I sing that or I hear it because Chris, I think you said it. Yes, it's very theatrical, especially when they hit that line and having that be the title of the album. I feel like it hits even harder. So I thought this was a very cool way to end it. And again, the bookends. I made that comment that maybe somewhere Dark Heart shouldn't have started it off. But it does kind of make sense when you look at the full like body of work. They have kind of that soft. I'm still calling it a Jimmy Eat World song to start it. They have this, it's not as long as I would call like a rock opera or a real long theatrical track, but that's what this is at the end. And then they have all of that like fun, quirky Motion City soundtrack stuff in the middle with a couple of weird, different things mixed in. So maybe somebody knows what they were doing and not me just talking about it. But I thought this was a cool way to end the album. And that's it. Then we have our first Motion City soundtrack record in the last 10 years. And it's the same old wasted, wonderful world. Good job, guys.
Yeah. What a nice non-surprise. Like, I'm not surprised by this. I was expecting it to be a very favorable talk track here between the three of us, and not just because of what we thought before and the bias that obviously came from that because we loved what we heard. But man, this was a great body of work, and these guys are super talented and they put out some great music. So really cool, and yet just another album in 2025 that we can look back on and say that it was a success for sure. But we can't end the episode, guys, without ranking our favorites. So now let's move away from the segment, will Chris buy this on vinyl? Because I think that segment is over. I will buy it on vinyl. Can I still find it on vinyl? Is it still available?
I'm sure.
Still out there.
Yeah.
I know that there's some records you just can't find, right? They're not all readily available, correct? Is that the truth? Can somebody?
This one's still new enough. You can still get it.
Okay. Good to know.
I mean, when vinyl is printed, there's usually a limited amount, but especially with a new record, they want to, that's a way for them to, sell physical copies and make some revenue. So I would think that they're still out there.
Yeah. I mean, you go to Target and you see the same albums over and over again. Like I could go out and buy Weezer Blue, whenever I wanted. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, we're going to do ranking it, guys. That's the part in the show where we rank our top 3 favorites from the subject matter of the day. And of course, today, talking about the Motion City soundtrack album, The Same Old Wasted Wonderful World. Guys, we said we liked a lot of the songs on here, so I'll once again say this might be a tough exercise. It might be easy, but either way, we got to do it. So, Tom, we always start with our guest. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off with this week's Rankin' It?
How hard are you guys on a tie for third? Is that allowed, or do I need to pick?
Usually it's not allowed at all. Usually I say that we do not have honorable mentions. We do not have ties. You have to be definitive. But because it is the holiday season, I will give you that tie.
I'm glad you do, because I really can't pick between these two. So in number 3 is a tie between Particle Physics and Things Like This. Number 2 is The Same Old Wasted Wonderful World. And number 1 is Melancholia for me. It's the one I come back to the most. It's got some staying power. And even though it's not as immediate, it's just a really good song for me. So it's that's my rank in it.
Nice. I didn't expect that.
No, Melancholia was out of left field for me. I think you were pretty complimentary of it, but I don't know. Wasn't going there. Steve, do you want to go next?
Sure. It's very difficult for me to get out of the first handful of tracks of this record, and I'm not going to get out of the first handful of tracks when it comes to my ranking it. The only difficult thing was putting them in order, which I felt like was really, really difficult. But what I ended up with is number 3 is going to be She Is Afraid. Number 2 is Particle Physics, and number 1 is You Know Who the Fuck We Are. I like the bubblegum. I like the boppiness, and this first handful of songs of this record are fantastic. So I'm staying there.
They certainly are. They certainly are fantastic. And I'm in the same vicinity, but not in the same ballpark. So for me, number 3 is, I don't think either of you have picked it. You guys picked this one, but Downer. I just liked it. I thought this song belonged in the top 3. This song belonged in the top 3. Number 2 was You Know Who the Fuck We Are. I think I said my piece on this one. Although I probably could have put Particle Physics in that number 2 spot. It was between the two of them. And yes, I'm back to that line of logic, Steve, where
oh god,
the tie for 2 does not go to 3. It's just the way it works out.
So Particle Physics is off the list.
It's out.
It might have been 2, but now it's off.
It's out.
Okay.
Right. That's the way that the logic works.
I've seen this before.
The logic for number 1 was Airtight. Your Days Are Numbered is clear, far and away my favorite song on this track. This one should go on your playlist for any occasion. Like I said, the holidays are coming up. A lot of people like to listen to Christmas music. You should listen to this song instead of Christmas music because it's that good.
So 8 of the 11 tracks, minus Tom's combo, 8 of the 11 tracks ended up on the 3 of our ranking it's here. So I think that speaks volumes to putting out a good record and what different fans like to listen to. That's pretty cool. And Tom, I don't know how much you do or do not want to have a set list spoiled, but I did put together a set list game after Chris mentioned it and figured out on the tour that they're playing what songs off this album they played. So how stringent are you on if you're going to a concert knowing or not knowing anything about the set list?
I want to know.
Okay,
I'll know.
so
I'm cool with it.
All right, so listen, they played 19 songs in their tour. This was just a few days ago. This was December 7th. This was yesterday. Pulling the curtain back on our recording date. Let's put the under-over at 5. Do you think they played less, equal, or more than 5 songs off of this record, Chris?
Oh, we're not just going over, under. We're going equal to?
You can do over, under, or equal.
I'm looking at the tracks. This is the album they want to feature. How many total songs? You said 19?
19 songs.
Oh, maybe you throw a couple odd songs in there. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go 4.
4. Okay. Tom, you got a guess?
Under 4. That was my guess too.
All right. Well, you guys are way off. They played 7 songs out of 19 off of this record.
Wow.
And I don't even know if we need to do any guessing. I'll tell you.
It's like almost the whole album, like minus. Wow.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not even gonna say which ones they are. We're gonna see it January 31st, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The 3 of us, and we'll see that there.
Well, tell me this.
I'm excited.
Can you just I did one song? Can we just pick one song and see if it was on there?
Sure. Okay.
Did they play Downer?
No.
They
did not.
Okay, that was my 1.
Tom, do you have a 1 you want to ask, or do you want to just wait and see?
I want to wait and see on this one.
All right.
Well, at least you know one of the songs you're not going to play.
Yes, they're not playing that one. And as we wrap up our discussion on this band and this album for this evening, I'm kind of curious, Tom, as such a strong Motion City soundtrack fan over the years, if we were to take a look at their 7 full-length records, you don't have to give it an exact number. Where do you think this one is? This in the top? Is this in the middle? Is this in the bottom? Like, what do you think about Same Old Wasted Wonderful World?
This is number 3 for
Oh,
me.
you got it. You got it
I
set.
got it. Yeah, I got this set. Yeah, right behind Commit This to Memory, and Even If It Kills Me. This is my number 3.
Easy. Chris, do you remember back in the day when we did this, where it might fit? I feel like you like it a lot. You probably say it's top.
Yeah, I would put it 2 or 3. I feel like there was one I liked more than this. I got to think about. I got to go back and listen again. But I probably didn't I like that dinosaur one too.
I think you liked the first one. I think you liked I Am the Movie the best, but I
Really?
could be incorrect.
Maybe I did, but this one is great. Like this is wow. It's got to be in that 2 or 3 spot. I would need to go back though to verify that.
Yeah, it's hard for me. Again, it's hard to rank these types of albums because again, some of them just have some songs that are like so really good, and you're like, well, these 3 songs are so good from that album. But I don't know. I would say it's in the top ish. I would say it's in that between like 3 and 4 type of spot. I mean, My Dinosaur Life, Commit This to Memory, Even If It Kills Me. This one, like I don't. I'm not going to put an order behind it, but I think it's somewhere in that vicinity, in the 3 or 4. But I really liked it, and again, this is the first Motion City soundtrack album that I'm listening to as a fan when it comes out. So this is kind of a new thing for us, and it was certainly enjoyable. And Chris, I have one more little ranking it thing, if you don't mind, before we wrap up.
Go for it.
So this is the last episode for our 2025 kind of recap where we talked about new albums. And just to, I don't even know if we can do this. You guys can just tell me to shut the fuck up. Can't do this. But we talked about 4 albums that came out this year. We talked about Yellow Card's Better Days. We talked about Starting Line's Eternal Youth. We talked about Hot Mulligan, The Sound a Body Makes When It's Still. And now we're talking about Motion City soundtrack, The Same Old Wasted Wonderful World. Should we try and rank those 4 to see where they fit? Or is that not even a fair question?
You mean like together or individually?
Deep breath. No, I mean, it would have to be individually. We're all going to think different things.
Yeah, well, maybe it's a group effort. I don't know. Let's give it a shot.
Give it a shot. Chris, do you want to go first, or should I go first since I'm the one posing this question?
You initiated this mess, so you're going first.
You know what the problem is that I didn't really think about it before I did this.
Even better. That makes for better radio. So
and
go
you know
ahead
what?
and say it.
You know what sucks is that someone's going to have to come in this 4 spot, but I don't think anybody really deserves to, because all these albums have been fantastic. I think the way that I'm going to go is the Hot Mulligan record gets number 4, even though I super enjoyed it. I think number 3 is going to go to Eternal Youth by the Starting Line. And number 2 is going to be this Motion City soundtrack record. And number 1 is going to be Better Days by Yellow Card. I could completely change that if you ask me again tomorrow, but off the top of my head, because I didn't think this through, I think that's what I'm going.
Tom, you want to weigh in here?
I will do my best, but that is a really hard question because all 4 are great albums. But if mine's going to be a little bit different than Steve's, and this has a little bit of recency bias maybe, but I'm going to do Yellow Card in 4, Hot Mulligan in 3. I'm going to put Motion City soundtrack in 2, and I'm going to put the Starting Line in 1. That album has just been hitting recently, and it's got incredibly catchy choruses throughout the entire thing. It's just wall to wall bangers. So that's my current ranking as of today.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all gonna be way off here. Well, I don't know. Maybe you guys are this similar. I can't remember Steve's. I do, but as soon as you said Hot Mulligan in 4, I stopped listening to you. So
I preceded it with how difficult this was, and I
get it.
didn't want to put anybody in the 4 spot.
I get it. Well, this is not out of spite, and is not. This is just the way it kind of fell. I did put the Starting Line in 4. I think that I enjoy that album. I enjoy a ton of things about it. I just think that it's, that's where it belongs. And number 3 is Yellow Card. This is number 2. This is enjoyability is super high with this one. I thought Yellow Card would be too, but this one edges it out just by a very small margin. And number one's Hot Mulligan without even a blinking. So that's my 4. Yeah, I mean, I stand behind that. I think that's fair.
I think aggregate between the three of us, Motion City Soundtrack is the top because we all ranked at number 2.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay,
but I think it's valid. It's validated by what we said, and it's just such a great album. So I'm good with that. Yeah,
I mean, this is an exercise in futility because it was difficult and it's also subjective. But anyways, we said at the beginning of this when our episode on Yellow Card came out that we are very thankful for these bands that we have followed for a very long time, still pumping out new music, some of them more consistently than others. And I think if this last month was any sort of indication, keep doing it because it's coming out good and we're enjoying it.
We are, and looking forward to seeing what 2026 has to offer in terms of new music, whatever's on the horizon, whether that be old bands we love or some new bands. Really looking forward to that. Continuing to get some really awesome music, in this genre or adjacent genres of pop punk music. But hey, Tom, thanks for coming on the show. I thought this was great. Once again, appreciate your knowledge and your opinions on this album, and look forward to hearing from you very soon. No, not sure what that's going to be, but you never know. I don't want to say anything else.
Oh, I was going to spill the beans anyway, but go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, spill the beans.
Well, first off, yes, Tom, thank you for joining us this evening. Just want to give a shout out to our Patreons. We have Tom, Ashley, Jason, Sam, Chris W, Nick, Punkish Dad's friend, Punk Rock Mom, and Jeff. If you want to be part of our Patreon community and get bonus episodes like one coming up where Chris and I are going to go through our Spotify Wraps and see what the heck that looks like for 2025, then go to patreon.com/HSNEpod. And Chris, you can tell them about the podcast and the shop and that stuff too.
Absolutely. But I do want to shout out Punkish Dad's friend. And I wonder if we can get Punkish Dad's friend's friend on the Patreon and then just keep that going.
Let's see. That would be great. That would be difficult to continuously say, but let's get Tom's friend and Nick's friend, everybody's just friend,
like
Punk Rock
all
Mom's
these
friend.
All these friends.
That's
guys.
That's the name they put in.
Yeah, guys. So once again, appreciate you guys listening to the show. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did going through this album. And hey, check out our other best of 2025s. Heck, check out all of High School Never Ends. There's something out there for everyone in our catalog of over 300 and so odd.
This is 312
episodes. Yeah, crazy stuff. But hey, if you really enjoy the show as much as we enjoyed doing it, go on to either Apple Music or Spotify. Give us a review. Written reviews are great because it tells us exactly what it is that you liked about the episode or liked about the show. Helps us improve. And if you really enjoyed yourself, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show. Obviously drives us up the viewability portion of the algorithm. And Steve and I really do appreciate it. And also, don't forget, we have some awesome swag out there. Everything from cups to shirts to... I almost said fingerless gloves. I'm not in the mood to kid around. However, fingerless gloves are not anything to kid around about, Steve.
He's not in the mood to kid around, guys. Just get a mug or a hat or a hoodie, and that'll be that.
No, just kidding, guys. Go check it out. You can find our shop via our hub. Our hub is simply put www.hsnepod.com. That's www.hsnepod.com.
Yep, and from there you can check out our Discord server, which is free to join, and you can chat with us about pop punk and life and all the fun stuff. You can follow us on the socials at HSNEpod, and I already mentioned the Patreon, patreon.com/HSNEpod if you want to support the show. We're going to be back next week with one last episode for 2025, and it is going to be epic. We're going to call back our Jeopardy champions, and we're going to see who is the champion of champions. That's right, Chris. I spilled the beans. I have to add anticipation for next week.
Spill them.
Go listen to all the other Jeopardies. Listen to Tom, to Dave, to Punkish Dad. See how they destroyed their competition. Tommy, feeling good? You ready?
I'm nervous. This is going to be tough, but you know what? It's we made it here, so
he went into every
winners.
Single one of them humble as hell. But you know what? It's going to be a clash of the Titans. Until next week, keep on rocking your dad bods. Throw up your rock hands. Blast the pop punk, and happy holidays.
Dragon Wagon.